Hey guys, this is part 2 of solving a system of linear equations by graphing. Okay, so we have two linear equations. However, they're not in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is basically, let me write that down, y equals mx plus b. You want to make sure it's in that format. The problem is it's not. As you can tell here, the x is in the wrong spot. The x needs to be over here. So basically what you need to do is just rewrite the problem, okay? Or basically manipulate the problem to the point where it's workable for you, because you want to be able to graph this. And if it's in slope-intercept form, it's easy to graph. Now, I know some people can graph it from here. When you get to a point when you're able to put this in that format in your head mentally and kind of do that, it's possible, of course, but it's not recommended. Of course, if you're first doing this, I would not do that. All right, so let's take a look at the first equation. So you got x minus 3y equals 2. It's almost like a two-step equation. Instead of isolating the x by itself, we want to isolate the y. We want the y to be by itself. So the y, in order to get the y by itself, you have to get rid of that x. Now this is x minus 3y. This is not 3y minus x. So what is the opposite of positive x? How do we get rid of a positive x? We got to subtract it. So we're going to subtract it from both sides. So we do that, and we end up with negative 3y, or minus 3y, negative 3y, equals 2 minus x, or negative x plus 2. And it basically means the same thing. We just have it up front because we want x to be up front. Otherwise, we just have it as 2 minus x. Now, what we need to do is we need to get rid of that 3. This is the coefficient. So we need to get rid of 3. So the opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is dividing by negative 3. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. Now for this side, you have to multiply everything here on this side by negative 3 as well. You can't just leave it as it is, right? You can't just divide this by 3 and not divide this by 3. So this is going to cancel out. You've got y left over. Y equals negative divided by negative is a positive. This is basically going to be 1/3 x. And then this is going to be a positive divided by negative is a negative. So minus 2/3. Okay. It's kind of a funky equation, but that is what it is. All right. Now, once you have that, you can graph it. So we need to look for negative 2/3. Now, negative 2/3, that's going to be a harder one to find. Negative 2/3, if this is all by 1, negative 2/3 is going to be about right here, roughly. It's kind of an approximation. Because 1/3, negative 1/3 would be here. Negative 2/3, obviously negative 3/3, which is just negative 1, would be right here. Okay, so the slope is going up 1 over 3. So up 1 to negative 1/3 over 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the slope is very non-steep. I don't know how else to say that. It is non-steep at all. I'd probably want to do this one more time, to be honest with you. So if I went up 1 and over 3, I go up 1 more over 3 again, it's going to be right on that line. Oh, I messed up. Up 1 over 3, 1, 2, 3. Up 1 over 3, 1, 2. Okay, it's right here. My bad. And I write in pen because it's much easier to see on camera. Pencils are hard to see, so I apologize for that extra dot there. That does not need to be there. Okay. So that's the equation there. So it's y equals 1/3 x minus 2/3. Okay, now for this other equation, we want to move the 3x over here. So let's see if I can, Let's see if I can put that right here. Hopefully I won't get in the way here of our next, when we graph it. All right, so we want to get rid of the negative, that minus 3x or that negative 3x. The opposite of minus 3x is positive 3x, or adding 3x. So we're going to add 3x to both sides. It's going to cancel each other out over here. All you got left is 9y equals 3x. Since that's positive, it's going to go up front. It's not going to matter. You're not going to say 3x plus 6. This is a minus 6 or a negative 6. So it's going to be 3x minus 6. Okay. Now, we got to get rid of that 9. So we're going to divide everything by 9. So y equals 1/3 x minus 6/9, which is basically 2/3. So you put that in lowest terms, that's 2/3. Well, guess what? We have the same exact equation. What do you know? So what that means is when you graph this, you're graphing it right on top. So this is going to have what we call infinite. Can't even see that. Infinite many solutions. I just call it IMS. Infinite many solutions, because basically what's going to happen is this is going to go right on top of that one. So this is also known as negative 3x. If you want to go back to the original equation, write this down. This is the same thing as negative 3x plus 9y equals negative 6. It's the same equation. So that's it. So both equations on the same line, which is kind of odd, but it happens. Hopefully that helps. That's part 2 of solving a system of linear equations by graphing. Moving on to part 3 now.